going on. So I came back. I had some stuff I had to do. While I'm doing that, I'm in the car gathering information for you. So we're going to get to what's happening in court and what's being talked about. So I thank everyone for coming back. Please like the video as you guys come in. Let me find myself so I can double check everything. Like the video, like the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate you coming back. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. It's been a little while since we went live. We did extremely well earlier today, so that's why I'm back, because I gathered more information for you guys. So like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for tuning in. Let me go ahead and do my disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay, so I always have to do that. Come on in. Like the video as you guys come in. Okay, so we're going to get to what other updates there are in regards to court. So like the video as you guys come in. We're going to get straight into it. Okay, I've done everything I need to do on my side. Let's hear what's happening regards to court, who's in court, and what's transpiring. So we're going to get to this clip.
On Diddy Combs case almost complete. Prosecutors are preparing for opening arguments on Monday, but they admit there's a snag. One of their key witnesses against the rapper appears to have gone missing. This comes as we learn that Combs' ex-girlfriend, who was seen on video being assaulted by the rapper, is pregnant. Here's Les Trent.
Is a key witness in the Sean Diddy Combs trial backing out? Victim number 3, as she's called, was set to testify against the music mogul. The name of victim number 3 was going to be revealed when she took the stand, but the woman has apparently gone missing, and prosecutors say they've been unable to reach her.
People just get nervous, and this person could just be nervous and just has had second thoughts.
If the prosecutor can't find this witness, how might it affect the case?
Look, I don't think it's going to have a tremendous effect. The prosecution is going to call a number of alleged victims. So, look, this is just one less.
Someone else is also getting cold feet. A juror sent an email to the judge asking to be removed from the panel for issues of personal well-being. Meanwhile, we're learning that the person prosecutors are calling victim number 1, Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, is pregnant with her 3rd child. She's asking the judge to break every 90 minutes when she takes the stand due to her advanced pregnancy. The star witness is still expected to testify about that shocking videotape of Diddy attacking her in a hotel hallway.
Combs has been incarcerated since last September. He has pleaded not guilty to all the charges.
Like the video as you guys come in. Can you hear me okay? Hello. Press 1 if you can hear me okay. Press 2 if I'm a little muffled. Can you hear me okay? Please like the video as you guys are coming in. I'm just bringing you more updates on what's being talked about at the trial. Hold on one second.
Enterprise that forced women and men to satisfy his sexual desires.
Thank you.
Decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to the 5-count indictment that could land him in prison for at least 25 years if he's convicted on all charges.
I just started like 3 minutes ago.
From the courtroom right now about the opening statement that's going on. Remember, no cameras in federal court, but during the prosecution's opening statement, prosecutor Emily Johnson told the jury, quote, "To the public, he was Puff Daddy or Diddy, a cultural icon, a businessman, larger than life. But there was another side to him, a side that ran a criminal enterprise. You're going to hear about 20 years of the defendant's crimes." And those who were inside the courtroom said this is when Sean Diddy Combs, there in the courtroom at the defense table, leaned back in his chair. Now, the prosecutor focused a good bit of her opening statement on Cassie Ventura, detailing the alleged incident when Combs paid for hotel security footage of him abusing Ventura. That's according to the prosecution. And Prosecutor Johnson said that Combs arranged for his workers to pay for what they thought was the sole copy of footage with a brown paper bag filled with $100,000 in cash.
Wow.
And we'll continue to monitor that courtroom closely and give you updates out of it. Our Kelly Craft is there inside of the courthouse, so once she's able to leave, get to her electronics, and join us, we will tell you what we can about what's going on inside of that courtroom. Let's bring in our civil rights and trial attorney, Lateef Gray, to weigh in on this case. Lateef, I was just mentioning there, Cassie Ventura being mentioned a lot, and we know she's going to be one of the first prosecution witnesses, and they expect that she's going to be on the stand for a week. Talk about the impact of someone like her being on the stand in front of this.
That's the first time I've heard that. Like the video, you guys. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Because if you're watching from a phone, all you got to do is double tap the screen to hit the like button. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. All you have to do is double tap the screen to hit the like button. So please hit the like. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Thank you. Please hit the double tap the screen to hit the like. Let's continue. Thanks for being back, everyone.
Jury really out the gate.
Well, she's a victim as seen by the video, seen around the world. So I'm sure she's going to get on the stand and tell her story of her dealings with Sean Combs. And it probably won't be pretty for Sean Combs. And so I'm sure his defense team will want to cross-examine her and grill her about every detail, about every aspect of her life that's relevant to this case. So I understand why she'll be on the stand for a week, but the defense might want to be careful because depending on how she comes out, she could sink their case from the start.
From the very beginning, that is quite possible. And Lateef, speaking of alleged victims, accusers in this case, up until Friday, the prosecution was having a difficult time confirming whether one of the alleged victims in their indictment is even going to be showing up in court. Victim number 3 in the indictment. The defense said they wanted to know if they are going to testify. The prosecution said, we don't know for sure if she's going to testify. We're still trying to reach her attorney. We're having trouble. Is it surprising to you that a prosecuting attorney wouldn't have more smooth interaction with an alleged victim who was going to be, no doubt, after Cassie, one of the star witnesses?
Well, this happens. You know, victims or witnesses sometimes in the beginning, they're gung-ho about testifying and participating in the process. But as time goes on and they see that, you know, their lives could be rearranged and their business could be put out in the street, they sometimes want to take a step back and not actually participate in the trial portion of this case.
And this is a case that's gotten a lot of attention. We have some video from overnight, Lateef, where people were camped out before it even got dark yesterday in New York City. They were there along the sidewalk in tents and chairs. And we understand that there were some people.
I told y'all there's people there since yesterday. Like the video, like the video. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before, where you're watching from. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Offering their seat for hundreds of dollars if someone wanted to take their space.
Wow.
Offering, and we do some.
Offering money to take their space.
I understand that there were some people offering their seat for hundreds of dollars if someone wanted to take their space in line. And we do sometimes see this for very high-profile trials. This is a federal trial, so even more of a need for people to be inside because you can't see what's going on there. We also saw the support for Diddy this morning. His family arriving, and we understand his mother, Janice Combs, is there. His sons have been really big supporters of his as well. They've been vocal in the media. So people coming there in front of the courthouse, the front entrance where they know all those cameras are going to be. Talk about the impact of that on a jury when they are inside of this courtroom that seats about 100.
Well, seeing Mr. Combs' family show up humanizes him, especially these children, his mother, because oftentimes when defendants go to trial, they have no one. So the fact that Mr. Combs has a huge support system, I think inures to his benefit as opposed to his detriment.
All right, Lateef, thank you for your comments. We will keep everyone updated on what happens there. We expect the defense's opening statements to begin immediately after the prosecution.
Okay, so let's get to the next report.
Making his way to that bench.
Okay, so they're talking about the family. Like the video, like the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the page. Fair use reaction clip. Let's continue. I'm just bringing you updates regarding court.
How did you feel about opening statements? Do you have any comment on opening statements?
She's asking one of his sons.
Ultimately, the prosecution is focusing on this idea that Sean Combs led a criminal enterprise and had several people working for him to pursue his sexual desires, whether that was through obstruction of justice, coercion. And the defense, though, in the opening line, the defense said that this case is not about a criminal enterprise, that it was about love, infidelity, and money. They also acknowledged that video, that infamous video from 2016, saying that this clearly was domestic violence. They said, we're not going to shy away from that, but they said it has nothing to do with Sean Combs leading a criminal enterprise. So we're breaking right now for lunch, but we'll head back inside the courtroom, and the first person expected to testify is a male escort. We also I learned from Cassie's attorney in that civil suit, that her husband is here.
Now, I think the first person was a witness. I think the second person I thought was the male escort. That's what I heard in the car. So I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But let's continue.
Now inside that courthouse. We're not sure if Cassie could testify today, but it is a possibility, according to her attorney, for that civil lawsuit.
This is where the Pope is going to be buried.
Opening statements just wrapped, and as things were coming to a close, we saw
Okay.
family members of
Let's get to the next report. Hold on one second. Just give me a second.
Prosecution today. Well, hi there, Julia. Yes, no cameras inside of the courtroom because this, of course, is federal court. The opening statements by the government and defense counsel just wrapped up. So we just came outside of this courthouse. We're going to be back in 1 hour. As you can imagine, it is quite a scene here in New York. Hundreds of people around, people yelling, showing their support for Sean Diddy Combs. Some people, of course, showing their dislike for some of the things that he has been charged with in this case. So the prosecution started. We do have a full screen of some of the things that the government said.
Okay, so they're about to talk about what he's being charged with. Like the video, press 3 if you knew where you're watching from, press 5 you've been here before, where you're watching from. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. All you have to do is double tap the screen to hit the like button. Please, please, please hit the like button. It's free, free, free. Let's get the likes up. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
In its opening statement, you can see
Thank
that it
you.
says the prosecution's opening statement to the public. He was Puff Diddy, or Diddy, a cultural icon, a businessman, larger than life. But there was another side to him, a side that ran a criminal enterprise. You're going to hear about 20 years of the defendant's crime. So the government was very deliberate, very straightforward as it went through one person after another, talking about Cassie and another witness by the name of Jane, and then also...
Okay, y'all, literally, as the news reporter is speaking, there is a man right behind her speaking everything she's saying. So for these reporters, it is a safety issue because there's a lot of people that's out there just randomly talking behind them. So let's continue fair use. So if you hear double talk, there's somebody behind her saying, and like I said before, he's innocent to proven guilty in a court of law. I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm just bringing y'all the news. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Hold on. Let's continue.
Another woman by the name of Mia, who worked for him as Sean Diddy Combs' personal assistant for a number of years. So the government went through each one of these witnesses talking about how they were forced into sex.
Alleged.
Why don't we go ahead and listen to what the defense counsel had to say in its opening. I'm going to tell it to you, actually. We don't have a soundbite, excuse me, but we're going to put up a full screen of what the defense counsel had to say, but we don't have that full screen. But let me just tell you a little bit about it, and excuse me, because as you can imagine, there's lots of people that are around. A lot of people are standing in front of us right now that are strong supporters of Sean Diddy Combs. So when I talk about what the defense talked about and said in its opening, in a way, the way that they were delivering this opening, it was so interesting at first because what they did is they had Sean Combs stand up Defense counsel turned around and said, this is Sean Combs. He stood up. He is wearing a light-colored sweater, a shirt underneath, also light in color, and he stood there, and she introduced him to the jury, talking about his genius, how people wanted to be around him because he was so charismatic. So he stood there as his defense counsel was describing him and how he came to be, how he grew up here in New York, in Harlem, and then became this cultural icon. They talked about money and how the witnesses that you're going to hear from had 30 million and have 30 million reasons to come up here and tell you what took place, that they took this money, that they wanted something from Sean Diddy. They weren't forced. These were adult women, strong women, capable women, and they made a personal choice to stay in these relationships. This was not a crime. So that's kind of the gist of what defense counsel was saying in its opening statement. But again, quite a scene outside this New York courthouse. We're going to make our way back inside. You have to get in line to make certain that you get a seat inside the courtroom. You can't bring electronics of any kind inside the courtroom. So there's a line for that as well. But a lot of people, as they were listening to the openings, snickering at times during some of it, in which the defense counsel was talking about the baby oil, talking about how you're going to hear about the baby oil. You're going to hear about intimate details of someone's sex life and how these women were willing participants.
Like the video, bringing you information like no other. Bring you information from the news. People are straight outside the courtroom, going in and out, and they're coming out to report what is happening. So I'm bringing you updated information. Like the video. If you're watching from a phone, press 1, and please double tap the screen to hit the like. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. What's happening in court?
Comfortable at times, and like any relationship, you're going to hear how this relationship also was toxic. So, Julia, that's kind of the latest here. If you have any other thoughts or questions you want to ask me, go ahead.
But, Kelly, first of all, can I say you are an amazing professional to be able to stay focused when I'm hearing that supporter there in the background talking about Diddy getting the keys to the city at some point in New York and going on and on. But you are taking...
Oh, you care. You're listening and then you typed. You care. Like the video. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before and where you're watching from. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Let's continue to listen. Fair use reaction clip.
Us there inside of the courtroom, so we are so grateful for that. I do want to ask you about this first witness that the prosecution is going to call. I understand that it has to do with the hotel surveillance video.
Hello, Texas.
Where did this surveillance video come from if Sean Diddy Combs paid someone $100,000 to obtain it for himself? That's one of the things that was talked about in the openings, Julia. So he had thought that there was maybe just one copy of this video when in fact there wasn't. So we're expected to hear from this witness who was handed.
Hello, Arizona. Hello, Arizona. Hello, Florida. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. We're just doing a court update. Earlier this morning, we did we went over what's been happening over the last 4 or 5 days, but right now we're doing a court update. Hello, Canada.
$100 bill. So he's going to testify about being, quote unquote, blackmailed to hand over this video.
All right, Kelly Brown, thanks so much. We'll let you get back inside of that courthouse.
2 children hospitalized after their school.
Okay.
Right, we're hitting the pause button there on that evidence coming out of Massachusetts.
Here, if you have any other thoughts or questions you want to ask me, go ahead.
Kelly, first of all, can I say you are an amazing
I
professional.
rewinded it a little bit. Did somebody try and pay somebody money for the video?
Talking about Diddy getting the keys to the city at some point in New York and going on and on. But you are taking us there inside of the courtroom, so we are so grateful for that. I do want to ask you about this first witness that the prosecution is going to call. I understand that it has to do with the hotel surveillance video because we've been wondering, where did this surveillance video come from if Sean Diddy Combs paid someone $100,000?
$100,000.
That's one of the things that was talked about in the openings, Julia. So he had thought that there was maybe just one copy of this video when in fact there wasn't. So we're expected to hear from this witness who was handed a bag full of $100 bills. So he's going to testify about being...
Okay, so he was offered $100,000. So he's offered a bag full of money. So let's continue.
Quote unquote blackmail.
So there's that. Hold on. There's one more. Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video. Of course, the family arrives.
And just thank you guys for being here. I want everyone to be kind. No pushing, no shoving, none of that kind of stuff. I know in the mics, when everyone's in there and the mics are hot, I don't want to hear anything negative.
How is Mr. Combs feeling?
Upbeat. I think
this is entertainment.
This is a huge deal, and so he's just ready to have his side told.
Will he take the stand?
I have no idea. That's for his lawyer.
Let's continue. That was entertainment. There was another one. Hold on one second. Like the video as you guys come in. There was one more I wanted to play, y'all. Like the video as you guys come in. Hold on.
We're going to turn our attention now to New York City, where opening statements are underway right now in the sex trafficking trial for hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Now, federal prosecutors in this case, they've accused Combs of turning his hip-hop conglomerate into a racketeering enterprise that forced women and men to satisfy his sexual...
Now, allegedly, like I said before, it's up to the jury. He's innocent until proven guilty. A jury's going to have to decide if there's any wrongdoing. Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's continue what is moving forward and what they're talking about in regards to the trial and how he lived his life.
Desires for 2 decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to the 5-count indictment that could land him in prison for at least 25 years if he's convicted on all charges. Now, here's what we're getting from the courtroom right now about the opening statement that's going on. Remember, no cameras in federal court, but during the prosecution's opening statement, prosecutor Emily Johnson told the jury, quote, to the public, he was Puff Daddy or Diddy, a cultural icon, a businessman, larger than life. But there was another side to him, a side that ran a criminal enterprise. You're going to hear about 20...
Allege. All comments are alleged. Let's continue. Fair use. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen to hit like. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Please double tap the screen to hit like. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
Years of the defendant's crimes. And those who were inside the courtroom said this is when Sean Diddy Combs there in the courtroom at the defense table leaned back in his chair. Now, the prosecutor focused a good bit of her opening statement on Cassie Ventura, detailing the alleged incident when Combs paid for hotel security footage of him abusing Ventura. That's according to the prosecution. And Prosecutor Johnson said that Combs arranged for his workers to pay for what they thought was the sole copy of footage with a brown paper bag filled with $100,000 in cash. Now, we'll continue to monitor that courtroom closely and give you updates out of it. Our Kelly Craft is there inside of the courthouse. So once she's able to leave, get to her electronics and join us, we will tell you what we can about what's going on inside of that courtroom. Let's bring in our civil rights and trial attorney, Lateef Gray, to weigh in on this case. Lateef, I was just mentioning there, Cassie Ventura being mentioned a lot, and we know she's going to be one of the first prosecution witnesses, and they expect that she's going to be on the stand for a week. Talk about the impact of someone like her being on the stand in front of this jury really out the gate.
Well, she's a victim as seen by the video, seen around the world, so I'm sure she's going to get on the stand and tell her story of her dealings with Sean Combs, and it probably won't be pretty for Sean Combs, and so I'm sure his defense team will want to cross-examine her and grill her about every detail, about every aspect of her life that's relevant to this case. So I understand why she'll be on the stand for a week, but the defense might want to be careful because depending on how she comes out, she could sink their case from the start.
From the very beginning.
That's interesting. Cassie's going to be on the stand for a week. Hello. Press 3 if you're new. Where you're watching from. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before, where you're watching from. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Fair use, reaction clip. Let's continue.
Getting that is quite possible. And Latif, speaking of alleged victims, accusers in this case, up until Friday, the prosecution was having a difficult time confirming whether one of the alleged victims in their indictment is even going to be showing up in court. Victim number 3 in the indictment. The defense said they wanted to know if they are going to testify. The prosecution said, we don't know for sure if she's going to testify. We're still trying to reach her attorney. We're having trouble. Is it surprising to you that a prosecuting attorney wouldn't have more smooth interaction with an alleged victim who was going to be, no doubt, after Cassie, one of the star witnesses?
Well, this happens, you know, victims or witnesses sometimes.
Thanks for tuning in, England. Thank you for watching and listening. Please don't forget to subscribe, you guys. We did really well today. Hello, Callie. Thanks for tuning in.
In the beginning, they're gung-ho about testifying and participating in the process. But as time goes on and they see that, you know, their lives could be rearranged and their business could be put out in the street, they sometimes want to take a step back and not actually participate in the trial portion of this case.
And this is a case that's gotten a lot of attention. We have some video from overnight, Latif, where people were camped out.
Thank you for subscribing.
It even got dark yesterday in New York City. They were...
Yes, 7 months ago, I had 3,000 subscribers. Today, we hit 35K. Can somebody put in comments 35K? We hit 35K today, you guys. We've been covering it. We've been getting information from the news. We'll be getting it straight from the news. That way we can understand what the breakdown is. So let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
There along the sidewalk in tents and chairs. And we understand that there were some people.
And understand, I did watch some YouTubers this morning that they stated some of the press was there from yesterday, first thing this morning, 3 or 4 o'clock this morning. So I will be listening to some of my favorite YouTubers that are covering this. They're going to give it to us straight. I'm sure a lot of them are making notes. They're probably not tweeting in court because a lot of people cannot take their phones in court unless they were approved by the court. So I will be listening to some of my favorite YouTubers talk about what's going on. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Thanks for putting 35K in there. I appreciate you.
Offering their seat for hundreds of dollars if someone
congratulations. Thank you.
In line. And we do sometimes see this for very high profile trials. This is a federal trial, so even more of a need for people to be inside because you can't see what's going on there. We also saw the support for Diddy this morning. His family arriving, and we understand his mother, Janice Combs, is there. His sons have been really big supporters of his as well. They've been vocal in the media.
Yeah, all of his children are there. The mom got out the vehicle from the earlier video, got out the vehicle first. The twins are there. The sons are there. And I did see a picture of Quincy. So his sons are there. Most people were surprised that they weren't there in regards to the jury selection. But the attorneys probably wanted the family to stay away so they could focus on proper jury selection. And then the media probably would have put it in that Combs' children are here. So then probably a lot of proper jurors probably would have been like, oh my goodness. Because a lot of times when you're on jury duty, you don't know what court case it is until you get in front of everyone. You know what I'm saying? And they're asking you questions. Let's continue. Fair use.
So people coming there in front of the courthouse, the front entrance where they know all those cameras are going to be. Talk about the impact of that on a jury when they are inside of this courtroom that seats about 100.
Hi.
Well, seeing Mr. Combs' family show up,
okay, so seeing his family humanizes him. Let's get to the next clip, you guys.
Here in trial. Jury selection is set to resume with 19 jurors from the first day's pool moving on to the next stage. Fox 5 New York's Briella Tomasetti joins us live this morning outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan with the very latest details. A lot of eyes on this case, Briella. Good morning.
Gina, good morning to you, and I can tell you this, it's expected to be another busy day at court. As a reminder, yesterday, potential jurors were given a brief explanation of the charges. The judge also told them that the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty. That defendant, of course, Sean Diddy Combs, walked into the courtroom yesterday wearing a sweater over a white-collared shirt and gray slacks. He hugged his attorneys when he got in. As proceedings got underway, Judge Arun Subramanian jokingly compared the long list of the prospective jurors to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Several of them said they already saw a key piece of evidence in this case, video of Combs beating R&B singer and ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura inside a Los Angeles hotel. One woman was dismissed after describing a still image she saw from that video as, quote, damning evidence. Ventura, one of the 4 accusers, is expected to testify. By day's end, some were disqualified for personal reasons or because their opinions or past experiences would impact their objectivity. One prospective juror said she liked a video on social media posted by a comedian who joked about large amounts of baby oil found by law enforcement in the superstar's homes. She was not dismissed. At one point, Combs asked for a bathroom break, telling the judge he was a little nervous. The court ultimately hopes to seat all 12 jurors plus 6 alternates by the end of this week before opening statements begin on Monday. All of them, by the way, will remain anonymous. Prosecutors have argued that Combs used his power to force women to participate in sex performances called freak-offs. His defense team insists everything was consensual. The hip-hop mogul denies the allegations and has pleaded not guilty to federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Now, as you mentioned, Gina, 19 people from that first group of potential jurors are still in the running, and 36 more are expected to be questioned today. For now, we're live here, though, in Lower Manhattan. We'll send it back inside to you.
All right, Fox 5 New York's Briella Tomasetti. Briella, thank you so much for the detailed breakdown. We'll see how day 2 goes and check in with you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you. And I want to share with you this latest.
Hold on. 5 minutes ago. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. We're just doing an update of what's happening in court.
Begun in the case against Diddy Combs. The celebrity rapper is accused of sex trafficking and racketeering. ABC's Olivia Rubin is outside the courthouse with the latest. The jury is seated and the trial has begun in the case against Diddy Combs. The celebrity rapper is accused of sex trafficking and racketeering. ABC's Olivia Rubin is outside the courthouse with the latest.
With hip-hop mogul Sean Combs seated at the defense table, federal prosecutors began their...
Yeah, that way we can cover more material and it's not a repeat of anything. I've watched different shows. I have to save it. I have to listen to some of it. Then I have to save it. So a lot goes into it. Thanks for being here, everyone. Like the video as you guys come in. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Double tap the screen to hit the like. And don't forget to subscribe. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before, where you're watching from. Let's continue.
Case. They told a jury that Combs committed crime after crime with his trusted inner circle for years. Those crimes, they said, included kidnapping, arson, drug offenses, sex crimes, and bribery. Prosecutor Emily Johnson telling the jury Combs, quote, used lies, drugs, threats, and violence to coerce women into having sex with him in front of male escorts.
Alleged.
Freak-offs lasted days.
Diddy.
Drugs.
Alleged.
2 women set to testify about those, quote, painful experiences include the singer Cassie Ventura, Combs' ex-girlfriend. The other referred to as, quote, Jane. Prosecutors saying, quote, if Cassie didn't do what the defendant wanted, the consequences were severe. The defendant beat her viciously. Evidence introduced in the case includes this surveillance video obtained by CNN showing Combs striking, kicking, and dragging Ventura at a Los Angeles hotel in 2016. Combs has since apologized. An attorney for Combs disputing the accusations, saying the government was trying to turn the choices of consenting adults into a racketeering case. Sean Combs is a complicated man, but this is not a complicated case. This case is about love, jealousy, infidelity, and money, said defense attorney Tenny Garagos. The defense conceding Combs, quote, has a temper and, quote, got violent, but insisted that was not part of a conspiracy.
Hello, SA. Welcome.
Violence is not sex trafficking. They also dismissed those freak-offs, saying Combs led, quote, a swinger lifestyle and participated in consensual threesomes. A jury of 8 men and 4 women here.
Now, do you think it's consensual? Yes or no? Like I said, a jury will have to decide if there's any wrongdoing, but there's other charges there. Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip. Continue to hit the like button, you guys. If you're watching from a phone, just double tap the screen. Thanks for being here.
During this case, among them a 30-year-old woman who lives in the Bronx and works as a deli clerk in a supermarket. Also a 69-year-old man working as a massage therapist. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, New York.
Okay.
The government has said it has as many as 20 witnesses set to testify during this trial. Cassie Ventura, the ex-girlfriend of Combs, is expected to testify this week.
So allegedly there's 20 witnesses. That's the first time I'm hearing that. Let's get to the next clip. Like the video.
Tonight in Indiana, to leave. Opening statements have just finished in the racketeering and sex trafficking trial.
My page goes a little fast, you guys. I don't go slow. I don't like to do a lot of repeats, but if I have to repeat something, I have to repeat something. Like the videos, you guys come in. Fair use, reaction clip.
Sean Combs, he came into court his his eyes immediately went to the second row where his children and his mother were sitting. He smiled, he blew them kisses, but then he had to listen rather passively as federal prosecutors laid out the case against him. A federal prosecutor named Emily Johnson said that Combs, with the help of his loyal entourage, what she called a criminal enterprise,
Hello, England.
20 years worth of crimes, including coercion and kidnapping,
Alleged.
and arson.
Alleged.
The attorney said there were no such crimes, that this case is merely about the sexual preferences. They may not be everybody's sexual preferences, but the non-criminal consensual preferences of adults. Federal prosecutors said that's not at all the case, because all of the sex the jury's going to hear about in this case, they say, was coerced. And one of the first witnesses is going to be Cassie Ventura. They had an 11-year relationship, and she is...
But I don't know if she's the first witness, because when I was listening in the car, there was other things that was being talked about. And then the second witness was a person that was like a escort. So some of the information, I'm going to correct it if I need to correct it. I don't know when Cassie's going to speak, but when she does, we'll make sure we cover it. And I'm sure either tomorrow I'll cover what was said, what was done, how she felt about the relationship. But I know the second witness was someone they allege paid. I'll say it that way. I have to watch what I say. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
To tell the jury that she was forced into freak-offs, these elaborate sexual performances that she was not free to leave. Opening statements suggest. So
when you're in a relationship, you do have choices. So that's the biggest thing. Let's continue. Like the video as you guys come in. Just give me a second. But prayers go out to all the victims. Prayers go out to his children. His children are, most of them outside of Quincy, they're younger than, but still, this is their father. And there's choices that he's made. Now, a jury's going to have to decide if there's any wrongdoing. I don't know. I wasn't there. Let's continue.
Hotel security video of Combs and then girl. And we have more breaking news. Opening statements are underway in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. Prosecutors claim Combs ran a criminal enterprise with his trusted inner circle and committed crime after crime for 20 years.
Allegedly.
Now the defense is responding, accusing the government of trying to turn choices among consenting adults into a racketeering case. The defense also says the now infamous hotel security video of
Apple
Combs
Valley.
and girlfriend Cassie Ventura shows a fight over a phone. ABC's Rena Roy's outside the courthouse, and legal analyst Ariva Martin is taking a closer look at that case for us. So, Rena, what sticks out to you so far from these opening statements?
Well, Diane, we have been watching Sean Combs closely as he listens in on these opening statements, and I can tell you that he's sitting at the defense table with his arms crossed. He looks pretty passive. He doesn't appear to have much of an expression on his face as he listens into pretty explicit detail that's being laid out by the prosecution. He did meekly stand at one point as the defense introduced him to the jury, but the prosecution went first, telling the jury Sean Combs to the public was a cultural icon, that he was larger than life, but that there was another side to him, a side that ran a criminal enterprise for 20 years. They went into detail about the drug-fueled sex marathons that they say Combs forced women into, including his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. But the defense is arguing in their opening statement, as you said, that the government is trying to turn relationships and choices involving consenting adults into a racketeering case. And they say that will not work. They say to the jury he might appear to be a jerk or mean at times, but that's not what this case is about. Diane?
So, Riva, what do you make of these opening statements so far?
Pretty much what I expected, Diane. I knew the prosecution would come out swinging to try to make their case.
Like the video. Yes, I have to stop it, play it. Yes, I have to give commentary in between. Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip.
This is a racketeering case. This involves violence. It involves coercion. It involves transporting people across state lines for sexual intercourse and for this kind of conduct that's been described in these freak-offs.
How did you feel about opening
statements? Would push back. Their claim is that this is all consensual sex involving adults, and they're also suggesting that this video that we're going to see of Cassie Ventura is not a video of violence and coercion in terms of sex trafficking, but rather it's domestic violence, and that domestic violence is not one of the charges that Sean Diddy Combs is facing in this case.
Yeah, we also heard the defense attorney say something to the effect of he's not being prosecuted for being mean or being a jerk, trying to keep the jury focused on, is he guilty of these charges? Not, do you think he's a good guy? And of course, Diddy maintains his innocence here and has throughout. So what do you also make of the defense's strategy in insisting that prosecutors are trying to criminalize what they are saying is Combs' private, personal sex life?
Well, we've seen this before, Diane. This is a common defense that we see in these cases when you have adults, when you have people who are over the age of 18 involved in these cases. But that is going to be a very difficult burden for the defense to meet. It's been reported that at least 4 victims of the sex trafficking are going to testify. And of course, Cassie Ventura is going to be a star witness for the prosecution. One of the things that the defense is also trying to do is to paint these women as strong, confident women that made decisions about being in long-term relationships with Sean Diddy Combs. We know a lot of people don't understand why victims of sex trafficking don't come forward sooner and faster. Why don't they go to the police? Why don't they report this to friends and to others? So that's going to be the question these jurors have to grapple with. If these women were in fact being coerced, why didn't they say something sooner? Why didn't they report it? And they're going to have to understand, at least that's what the prosecution wants them to understand, is the huge psychological and emotional toil that this kind of conduct takes on its victims.
And Rena, they could even start calling witnesses today. How is the prosecution expected to start that part of this trial?
Right, so we know one of the first witnesses will be an escort, and following that, an early witness who is expected to be key for the prosecution's case is singer and ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. She is expected to lay out for jurors her side of her relationship with Combs, and prosecutors say that these are painful details of her life that she's going to be sharing. We're expecting it to likely be pretty emotional as we hear from her.
All right, Rena Roy, Ariba Martin, thank you both.
Okay. All right, let me play this while this charges.
Keep in mind that these jurors will have to be part of an 8-week trial. During this 8-week trial, the jurors will be subjected to all of the horrific things that Diddy is being accused of. They will have to see all the evidence. They will have to hear anything related to the case. Now, Diddy's family did show up to support him for court this morning. We have his kids, Justin, Christian, Chance. We have Diddy's mother, and we have his twins all in attendance to show support for Diddy. Now, as a reminder, Diddy is being accused of trafficking. He's being accused of using his position of power to lure and manipulate women. He's being accused of rugging individuals for his own personal games. We have the freak-off parties. We do have Cassie, who will be discussed during this trial as well. And of course, Diddy is not pleading guilty. He remains that he is innocent, that he is just a regular person who is a little freaky.
Now, are you surprised he didn't take the plea deal?
Outside of the law. That is all that happened this morning. Make sure to hit that follow button. That way you can keep up with any important updates happening regarding the Diddy trial. As always, let me know what you think down below in the comments.
Okay, let's go to the next one while that charges up. This is Little Rod. He's actually at court. This is Little Rod and his attorney. So I'm just showing y'all what's happening outside the courtroom. Hold on. This was what was also happening outside the courtroom. A lot of media.
Outside federal court as Sean Combs' family just walked in the courthouse. Jury selection continues. And the jurors will be sworn in, opening statements, and then witnesses will be called. Stay with CBS for the very latest. A very large media.
So that was, okay.
Sean Combs getting into a van, his children, his mother, they obviously didn't have any comment. And then we also saw one of his sons, Justin, making his way to that van too. How did you feel about opening statements?
Of course he's not open.
Do you have any comment on opening statements? Ultimately, the prosecution is focusing on this idea that Sean Combs led a criminal enterprise and had several people working for him to pursue his sexual desires, whether that was through obstruction of justice, coercion. And the defense, though, in the opening line, the defense said that this case is not about a criminal enterprise, that it was about love, infidelity, and money. They also acknowledged that video, that infamous video from 2016, saying that this clearly was domestic violence. They said, we're not going to shy away from that, but they said it has nothing to do with Sean Combs leading a criminal enterprise. So we're breaking right now for lunch, but we'll head back inside the courtroom, and the first person expected to testify is a male escort. We also learned, I learned from Cassie's attorney in that civil suit, that her husband is here. He's now inside that courthouse. We're not sure if Cassie could testify today, but it is a possibility, according to her attorney, for that civil lawsuit.
Okay, you guys. Okay, swapping it back out. I charged it up. Like I said, I was busy today. So work with me here, work with me. Okay, let's get to this next clip that's talking about Diddy. They're talking about inside and the witnesses. Like the video, like the video.
After final jury selection and
fair use reaction clip. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before and where you're watching from. And press 1 if you're watching from a phone. If you're watching from a phone, please press 1. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen to hit the like button, you guys. It definitely supports the channel. Hit 1 to hit the like button. And all you have to do is double tap the screen. Thank you. So just double tap the screen to hit the like. Let's get the likes up. And we're about to play this next clip. Fair use reaction clip.
Statements this morning. The prosecution portrayed the music mogul as the leader of a criminal conspiracy sex trafficking ring, while the defense rejected that, saying trying to turn Combs' consensual sexual relationships into sex trafficking, quote, will not work. Combs pled not guilty to charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Joining me now, Christy Greenberg, former SDNY Criminal Division Deputy Chief, former federal prosecutor, and MSNBC legal analyst. So, Christy, you were inside the courtroom. Tell us what it was like in there.
Well, it was packed. There were 2 rows full of Sean Combs' family and friends.
Thank you, everyone.
As well as other members of the media and other members of the public that were very interested to learn what was happening. You had 2 opening statements that portrayed a very different image of who Sean Combs is. You had the prosecutors saying that this man ran a criminal enterprise for over 20 years, that he engaged in using force and coercion in order to make 2 separate victims engage in these commercial sex acts, these freak-offs that they did not want to participate in. And then you had the other side, which is the defense, having Sean Combs stand up and show a different side of him and say, look, he's indefensible in terms of committing domestic violence, but that doesn't mean he's a sex trafficker. That doesn't mean...
Okay, I'm going to stop that for a second. I want to hear what happened right at 4 o'clock. Let's hear what's going on with the witnesses.
Diddy's trial, because their testimony was devastating. The first up is Israel Flores, who is now part of the LAPD, but back then, in 2016, he worked as assistant director of security for the hotel in Los Angeles, where that infamous Cassie video came from. He recalled getting a distress call from a woman on the 6th floor. That woman is, of course, Cassie. Now, when he got up there, he saw Diddy slouched in a chair, half naked, giving him what he described as a devilish stare. Now, when Cassie said that she wanted to leave, Diddy responded with, "You're not going anywhere."
Wow.
And Flores responded by saying if she wants to leave, she's going to leave. Then at some point, Diddy gave him a bunch of cash, or tried to give him a bunch of cash with a $100 bill on top, saying, "Don't tell nobody." And basically, Flores said he wasn't interested in his money. But the biggest moment came when jurors saw video surveillance footage of Diddy beating Cassie, punching, kicking, dragging her by her hair back to her room. And this was footage that nobody has ever seen. This is not the video that we have all seen.
Wow.
Not only that, it was at several different angles, and this is the prosecution's key piece of evidence. Next up was Daniel Phillip, who is a male stripper who recalled being hired by...
So he just talked about witness 1. Now he's talking about witness 2. Like the video, like the video. Fair use reaction clip.
Cassie for S parties with Diddy. He said that Cassie would wear what Diddy demanded, which typically was red lace high heels and sunglasses.
Wow.
He said that he got paid thousands of dollars to rub baby oil on Cassie and have S with her while Diddy watched. Diddy even at one point made him hand over his driver's license, which Phillip said he believed was a threat.
Right.
Then it took a darker turn. He testified to seeing Cassie basically passed out after these encounters. He testified to the fact that Diddy would then drag her by her hair, screaming, and after she didn't come, he would say, quote, "B, except the full word, when I tell you to come, you come now, not later." Now, Phillip said that he didn't intervene, and the reason for that was because he knew that his bodyguards were in the other room.
Right.
He was worried that if he tried to intervene, that he could possibly lose his life. And just remember, guys, this is day 1 of witness testimony.
Day
Violence,
1.
S parties, bribes. Can you imagine if this is how the trial started, what else we have coming?
Wow. That's like the video, like the video. What else is forthcoming? It's not going to be easy listening to a lot of this, but I'm bringing you everything that's happening in court. So some of your favorites are going to be repeating this tonight. We're bringing you everything that's happening in court, outside of court. So let's listen to his final statement.
As always, drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure that all of them.
Okay, so let's continue with the other video. Like the video as you guys come in. We're listening what's happening in court, outside of court. Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Hit the like button. All you have to do is double tap the screen, or you can hit the thumb button above the video, below the video. Please don't forget to subscribe. And thank you to all that subscribed this morning. If you missed my video from this morning, go ahead and check that out. We updated for the last 3 or 4 days of what was happening in regards to the court and the jury. Let's continue. Fair use.
He engaged in racketeering, and trying to make this distinction and really focusing on the victims and trying to turn the jurors' focus to the victims and say, look, they were strong, capable women, and they made a choice. Now, I think that will ultimately be a difficult thing for the defense to show because of all the evidence the prosecutors in the opening statement said that they had, showing that actually these women really weren't making a choice. You have the video of Cassie where, Sean Combs is beating her, striking her, dragging her out of that hallway video when she was trying to leave one of these freak-off sessions. That doesn't exactly look like a choice. We also heard from the prosecutors that there are text messages where one of the victims, known as Jane, is saying, I don't want to engage in these freak-offs. I don't want to do this.
Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before, where you're watching from. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip.
And then there are apparently also recorded calls that we are going to hear between Sean Combs and Jane, in which Sean Combs is offering her money and telling her to say that she wanted to engage in these freak-offs. None of those pieces of corroborating evidence sounds like these women had a choice. So I think that is going to be really critical evidence for the prosecution. And just one last point, even if there is the sex trafficking charges, but there are 2 charges, one for each victim, of transporting these women across state lines for the purposes of prostitution. Those charges do not require force, fraud, or coercion. So consenting adults traveling across state lines for the purpose of prostitution, if he did that, he is guilty. So these arguments about the women had a choice, they're not really a defense to these transportation for prostitution charges. I think those charges in particular will be very difficult for the defense to overcome.
Let me ask you about the jury. As I understand, 8 men, 4 women, all from Manhattan.
Hello, New York.
Bronx, Westchester County, north of Manhattan. Includes everyone from an investment analyst, a physician's assistant, scientist, UN worker. I think several of them said that they've seen the video of Combs assaulting Cassie Ventura in an LA hotel hallway. I wonder what your thoughts are on this jury and its makeup.
Well, as you said, more men than women. That's generally not what you'd want to see when you're prosecuting sex trafficking cases. You'd like to see more women on that jury. It is a very...
Hold on.
In the courtroom.
That is remarkable composure, can I just say, with all of those emergency vehicles going behind you. Christy Greenberg, lawyer and reporter extraordinaire, thank you so much. I know you'll keep us posted as this trial goes on.
And music mogul is accused of sex consensual, but for 20 years, prosecutors say he trafficked women and exerted his will by controlling their careers, leveraging financial support, and using intimidation and violence. Combs is seen kicking and dragging then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in 2016 hotel security footage obtained by CNN. Prosecutors plan to introduce as many as 5 different versions of the video, and Cassie is expected to be among the first witnesses. Combs giving Ventura this shout-out while accepting his 2022 BET Lifetime Achievement Award.
I gotta give a special thank you to the people that was really there for me. Cassie for holding me down in the dark times. Love.
The defense concedes violence was part of their relationship, but argues it's not coercing her to do anything. Prosecutors say Cassie and at least 2 other women were forced into elaborate and produced sex performances with male prostitutes called freak. 2 BET Lifetime Achievement Award.
I gotta give a special thank you to the people that was really there for me.
Okay, you guys, I don't want my battery to die. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit like. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. Earlier today, we did talk about Tory Lanez. I will do a follow-up if I can about Tory Lanez. Praying for Tory Lanez. There was an incident at the jail in regards to Tory Lanez if you missed that. So thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the channel. Most likely, I will go live tomorrow, either at 10:30, 11, or 11:30, depending on. Not certain if I'm going live again tonight. I've basically updated you guys this morning and this afternoon what was happening in the courthouse, what was happening on their lunch break. So I pray and I hope everyone be safe, focus on healthy, safe relationship. I hope you guys have gotten a lot of information. We go fast over here. We go extremely fast. I'm not going to have you guys over here for 30 minutes and I'm just talking about myself or I'm making up stuff. We go really fast. I hope you can keep up because, baby, we go extremely fast. Like I said, my page only had 3,000 subscribers 7 or 8 months ago, and now we hit 35K today. So people like that it goes fast, and we're just not dragging it on, wasting your time. We go fast. So I'm glad everyone can keep up. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you all. Have a great day. Goodbye. Be blessed.